You never know who you're going to become when you come into the world. However, you are meant to become someone. And you're meant to become someone who will make a difference, who will give something back to others. And it doesn't matter what you might believe about that, that's just the fact of how we are each born. But then we have to decide if we're going to do what it is that's within us that keeps pushing us forward, that tells us this is who we are meant to become. And sometimes that's really challenging. But then again, if that was a challenge for you, then you're meant to help someone else who might be challenged with finding that information that you have. But then sometimes we hold that back as well. And I can say that because I've done that. We've all held ourselves back because we don't know who we are becoming. And then life can surprise you as well, especially if you stay open. And especially during this time in our world, you might be pushed to discover brand new things about yourself because that's why you're here. And I came to a great realization as well. When I started receiving Wilhelm in 1989, I was just looking for help. Many people know that. I wasn't going to show anyone. I wasn't going to talk about it. I was trying to move through my challenges, my difficulties, because I had a lot of them, as you might have. But then you get over them. You move through them. Somehow you figure it out. But I was doing something else that I didn't know what was happening. I was writing it all down because I was receiving guidance. I made this direct connection. I was receiving guidance and I knew that it was aiding me, it was helping me in some way. But it was never my intention to take it public, to talk to others about it. It started being pulled out of me. It might have happened for you that way as well. Sometimes because we can't see ourselves. That's just what it is. And years ago, when I was thinking about doing this work and bringing Wilhelm's work to the world, I was meeting with people and they say, wow, you should be doing so much more with this. You should be charging so much more. I would hear that continually, but I didn't understand why. Because I thought it was just me. You may have done that as well. We undervalue ourselves all the time because we're just being us and we're just living it. And so that appreciation that you might have for yourself could have been lost, as it was for me. But then again, you discovered that was part of your plan, because now you can help others not be lost because you found yourself. That's the process that we each move through. What I didn't know is that Wilhelm was going to give us a philosophy that was like a quantum philosophy, because it was all in telling us the information, the intelligence that we each have within us that just gets activated over time, individually and collectively. This was something that was so surprising for me because I had to move through all these challenging, difficult things, but I healed. And I didn't understand why it was occurring. I didn't understand why this work had something to do with it until you understand that there's energy. And it could be right in front of us and we don't see it, we don't understand it. We learn things at times, but we don't always take it in and remember it. And I certainly did. So I was brought to that realization today. Today is still the 18th, the 17th of November, but I decided to look at the 18th. And that's when it was really a shock for me, because I didn't remember that. I'm talking about last year, because what I've discovered is that Wilhelm has been giving us information that was aligned with the energetic changes that were happening in our world, and they were date stamped. They were on dates. That is something that we've never seen before. But that is what has happened. And then you start to discover that the alignment of Wilhelm's date is aligned with other things that are going on in our world, and other people will talk about the same dates, and I had no awareness of that. I'm saying this because we have to remain open to what we can develop that we may not know. And again, to look at this information and understand how it was coming about, I had to live it, first of all, because I had to demonstrate, oh, well, this is what it does. Sometimes that is how we create new things, is by living it and being the example for what we have created. Well, we're all doing that with something about you. But I want to show you this message, and it was striking to me because when I looked at it, it's like, how could I have missed this? Well, you will have the same thing about your life because we'll go back and look at things and question how we could have missed it. That is how we evolve. It's day by day, and we don't remember it all or keep it in our consciousness even. So that is just what happens. So when you go here, I put it up because last year they said you could change your life and world, but the other day I created this because I said I knew that something had happened different with Wilhelm's work, and they'd given us an ultimate guide to personal development because again it was about the energies and it was alignment, and that was it. And this video was done last year. I didn't remember it, but they told me to put together a video and have it all read, and I got an AI voice. We put that together and read each of the messages, and as you listen to it you can hear the progression. You will feel it as well if you just listen to it, and I had no memory of that occurring. And then you come to 2008, and this is the thing that we're all searching for. You are now and always connected to all that is, for all that is pure energy, and you are pure energy. I mean, that one statement, if we could understand and accept that, we would understand so much more because we would use it in a different way. Then the next year, there is nothing for you to figure out. There is only that which you desire to experience. I was trying to figure it all out, and that's for sure. Nothing you desire is ever found outside of yourself. We've heard that forever, but we keep looking, and I did the same thing. Even though I'm receiving all of this, we still want confirmation. All you ever desire is peace. If we could have that, we would be in that place of self-acceptance. Every decision you make is the right one. They would give me things like that because, yeah, the stuff we messed up, it was still the right decision because now we can correct it. And that's basically what we come to understand with our mindset and changing. Guidance is always available for you when you decide to listen to it. And that is us listening to that intuition, which we sometimes do and then other times might ignore. Then you create your personal reality through your thinking or the thoughts you choose to hold consistently. And again, we know that that's in science has told us that we're energy and we direct things in a particular way. We have so many messages on focused attention that we kind of forget. Then the next year, you have lived a successful life when, at the end of it, you can state with clarity, pride, and honesty, this is who I am. Well, I'm only able to do that now. I certainly couldn't do it before. Then you think that the biggest difficulty in your life has been your failure to do certain things or take certain steps that you know will lead you to all your goals. You have, however, chosen to overlook the biggest thing that you have been doing, and that has been merely stopping yourself. That was true. We've all done it. You wanted this as well. That was another way of shifting our perception again when we're in those difficult places because it's forcing us to do something more. Then the next year, what do you want to be today? Who do you want to be today? Again, a choice that we're making every single morning. Then the next year, you were born today. That was another one to let go of the past and take the next step. And you can see this is a cycle. And then the next year, you have feared your power. We have. We all do because we don't know if we can handle it, whatever it might be, or don't believe that we have it, or we might have been talked out of that. And then you are afraid of the light. And that was a really hard one, and that was great. They took me back to a Plato quote. And that was, there's nothing worse than seeing a person who's afraid of the light. And I was afraid of the light. But it's a process again. Your world is now in your hands. That was in 2021. That's all of us. We are the ones who are creating it through our lives. Please choose your new self today. Again, remembering who am I going to be. Then the next year, ascension is a choice. Meaning, we're not going to all choose to do that. And ascension means moving to a higher state of consciousness. And we know that is not occurring for all of us, and so we decide. Then the next year, in the final year, you could have changed your life and world by now. And what that meant is all the information that I had received is true. And it was verified in that document. But me accepting that was something that took a long time, as it might for you. That's our process. But my life was meant to bring in a process so more people can understand who they are. And I never expected that it was going to be a quantum thing that had not been seen before. Because I developed some other ability to receive information that was energetically aligned. And again, I've never studied astrology or anything like that, but you will see that there's an alignment because it's giving us a new way of understanding ourselves, understanding our world and the changes that we might move through. Those are the connections and the things that we always discover when we live. It just comes through each of us in different ways. And we might resist it. And I can't do that anymore. This is really, it was astonishing for me. Everyone is not going to do this work. Everyone, we don't want to really look at ourselves sometimes. I did it every single day for 36 years, and that's what healed me and caused me to come to this place. But now, discovering all of this, I've got to finish because it's also been challenging to explain it to others. So I'm going to work with those people who want to reach that next dimension in their life because this work will guide you there. Even when I'm doing work with Wilhelm, that'll guide you there. So I know that there's nothing anyone would have a difficulty with. I can say this forever, that I know that your questions have been answered because they're all within you. What this work does is get you to find them, though, and to get you to move beyond your doubt and your fear and to develop more confidence, which is what we all want. And my life was meant to live to bring in a philosophy that could have you do that. And it could change our world because it was all explained. The only difficulties we are seeing in our world are too many people who do not know who they are or not remembering or not choosing to remember that higher place within them. And so it becomes up to more of us to decide that we're going to do that. And that means owning ourselves. And I didn't do that fully, as you haven't. Because, as Wilhelm would say, if you had, your world would be different. Because that's a power that we each have. It just gets developed over time. But enjoy this, because now you will have a new way of looking at yourself. And if you just go through this one day of messages, you will see it'll change you. And if you listen to them, that's why the recording is there. If you listen to them, it will keep changing your brain. That's why we use cognitive behavior training, because you're going to keep introducing new information. And that is neuroscience as well. You're training yourself to think in a new way and create different results in your life. That's all that we do. And this work is just connected to the universe, so it was more effective. And I could not have known that before. Why it was giving everyone the kind of results. Because it didn't matter who you were, didn't matter what gender, what race, what country, where you came from. It works with your soul. And that's what we each have. We're just navigating that ourselves, and this is a new way of doing that. Taking into consideration what you've been through, your life, your challenges, and your prior programming, and being willing to move through it. That's all that it is. Enjoy this, and if you're ready to begin, we'd love to have you. See you soon.